Hey everyone. Okay, so yeah, for those of you who've just come over from my main channel, you might well know. Well, before we get started, I'll just say hello because I got my lovely friend Andrew with me.
Oh, lovely. That's very nice. Gay.
It is pretty gay, but I've been quite mean to you recently. Well, we're always mean to each other, which is fun. Anyway, but yeah, I've got Andrew with me. I wanted Andrew's advice on this, guys, and I'll give you a bit of insight. If those of you who haven't watched on my main channel, I had this kind of this troll guy who wanted me to face the death penalty um, for insulting scammers. Anyway, so I made a kind of a whole video on him. It went down a lot better than I expected, and a lot of you guys seem to enjoy it. However, I started to do a bit of research because I'm a bit obsessive about things like this. I wanted to see whether this guy really was just a troll or not. When I first told Andy about this, he claimed that he was a troll that had just targeted all the things I hated. However, I found even more information on this guy today that dates back to long, long before I ever had any kind of internet presence. So, but this stuff, now I'm going to warn everyone in the chat now, and please, if people join as we're going along, do warn them. There's going to be some dark and disturbing things we're going to talk about. Well, none of this comes from us. It's all this guy's words, basically. And because, of course, what Andrew, if you haven't checked out Andrew's channel, guys, both him and I are into kind of all the To Catch a Predator stuff. We like seeing people being brought to justice, and so we're both into that kind of thing. And well, that's how Andy and I became friends. So yeah, anyway, but this guy I only came across because he was kind of what I thought was trolling my main channel. Now, I had a look at his Facebook page, and I had a look at his blog pages. So the first things I'm going to read you, and I'm going to just read these out, so do bear with us, guys. And then Andy and I are going to discuss what we think of these things. Is some posts, and this is from the same page that he has the thing about me that I should face the death penalty. But this is right. Wait, is that the one I want to start with? I don't know. They're all so fucking dark. Yeah. Yeah, no, we're going to start with this. And so this is from the... Now, if any of you guys... Some of this is going to seem too unbelievable to seem real. And I'm happy to give you the links, guys. What I don't advocate is sending anyone hate. However... Well, you said it to me earlier, didn't you, Andrew? Like, the things this guy talks about, he deserves to be castrated.
Yeah. The thing is, we don't. You've always got to remember in cases like this, it could be someone trying to get someone else in the shit. It does happen. You know, people setting up fake profiles and putting false names on. So you got to be really careful.
Yeah, but I just don't think there's too much with this guy on too many different channels, all under the same name. I mean, it's a hell of an effort to go through. If it's any kind of catfish, it's an incredible catfish.
Yeah, what I don't quite understand is why he's not sort of had his... It's like you said to me earlier, why has his stuff not been taken down?
Yeah, I mean, guys, I want to reiterate, especially now we've got more people here.
They get the message, Adam, get on with it.
No, but it is disturbing. The guy talks about paedophilia, he talks about rape, so bear with me, guys.
So do
we. So do we, but we don't, not in this way. Right. So this is, guys, just so you know, this is the kind of troll guy that I made a video about on my main channel, and this is a post on his on MyFace blog post, and this post is called "To All of My Girlfriends." So I'm going to read this out to you. Okay, so bear with me, guys. These are the words of Robert Hocker, not my words. So, none of you are to have anyone for a boyfriend. I am the only one that you can love. I am the only one that can make love in you without you being enslaved to love. Though you may be loved, you are free to live your desire with the exception of having a lover, boyfriend, or husband. I am very greedy, selfish, and possessive, yet I love many females. Even as a wife, you could be with me whenever you desire. You are not obligated for anything. There is an old adage: if you love someone, set them free. If they come back, they love you. If not, it was not meant to be. In the old days, a man would show his inner self to a female. If she rejected him, he would walk away. Sometimes he would try again. He never forced her because he knew she would only make him miserable by being a miserable slave. Even as greatest of enemies, I would desire you for your beauty. It is not as simple as just taking you. But great care must be made to ensure you are loved. We remain separated in lifestyles due to the conflicts there. We should accept we are different, but we still fight a very aggressive sexual war. No one gets hurt in the war. It is a war of love and desires. And since very few understand that, I do not pursue it. I will teach you love, but it is best not to share it under any circumstances. It is a very conflictual relationship that results in forcible slavery. Just as the Illuminati, who has the most money, wins, it is who can take the other's mind, love, and body in slavery wins. In today's society, that is very self-destructive. I have no participation in that. So, and then this is all in quotation marks, don't try, we will not make it. Don't cry, everything is well. Don't fight, you fight the wind. Don't tease, you may get raped. So that's his first blog post, Andy. Now I want to know what you make of that.
Well, first of all, do we know that's him? Is it not some? I mean, what I mean is, I'm going to try Googling it.
Everything I found has come
nuts,
from searching through his Facebook page. It all directs back to there. It's all got the same pictures. This is all the same guy.
Should we just assume then that this is a genuine guy without me trying to fucking destroy we'll just assume it's a genuine guy
from an analysis point of view, because that's what you do. You do analysis. What do you make of that guy? Just from, and because I know you've read more, I've sent you links to other things. So, but what do you make of that first blog post? What would you think of that person?
Let's just say he's being serious, and it's genuinely coming from his mind, and this is the way it feels. I mean, it's quite obvious. I don't want to be patronising to anybody, but it's just the words of someone who's very egotistical, and he's kind of got delusions of grandeur in his own way, a bit like Lorne, but even more pronounced in that he's very deprived, but also at the same time he's convinced himself that he's some kind of superstar.
Well, I think we'll get to see a little bit more of, I can see that there's delusion there, but nothing too extreme.
I mean, should we direct people to his MySpace page? I mean, at the end of the day, this is his MySpace page that he's made public, so we're not doing anything wrong by doing that.
If people don't believe this, well, I'm going to give the links out as we discuss each one. I think that would work best. So I'll give you guys the link to what I've just read to you, and especially be very curious to hear what you guys think of it in the chat as well. But it gets a whole lot deeper and darker than this, for fuck's sake. I'm trying to copy and paste the message from when I sent you the link earlier, but it keeps giving me the timestamp as well.
Well, I've just done, I can post the link.
Okay, so that was the first link I sent you, so if you could post that, I would appreciate it.
The one that
hold on, Andy. Do you know what I really need to do is make you a moderator, because otherwise you won't be able to post the link. You are a moderator. It's all good.
Well, the thing is, all it will do is direct people to his MySpace page anyway. So from there, they'll be able to access other parts of it. Do you get what I mean?
Well, we can't stop. We can't say, wait, don't read it until we get there. But it'd be nice
if
we all
read it until we get there. Yeah, I'll do it now. I just hope I'm copy and pasting the right thing.
It's the top link in the one I sent you. It's the one that's called To All of My Girlfriends. Right, guys, so I think we will move on to the second one. And this is where it gets a bit more into Andy's territory, so to speak.
Sounds really sinister, that.
It does a bit, doesn't it? But yeah. But no, the reason Andy and I, well, for me, I've said many times, I live in a little bubble world, and the two most heinous crimes, and this is why Andy kind of said he wondered if it was a troll setup just to like say everything I hate, because the two things I hate in the world is people taking the innocence of youth when it's not fair, and rape, because it's just, in my opinion, disgusting. And I know people have weird fantasies and stuff, and what you do in the comfort of your home that's pre-arranged and you have a safe word for, I've got no problem with. But there has to be boundaries, and people have to be respected. Anyway, going off on one now. Going off on a... right, yes, and Serena Babe has brought up what I'm about to say. So this is another Bobcast? Fucking blog. That's it. Another blog from Robert. And this one is entitled, entitled just means you think you need something, doesn't it? When is young too young? Okay, so... you know we're getting a little bit dark when something starts out with that title. So here we go. I have had experience with many 12-year-olds and older who desire sex with me. They touch themselves, place my hand down there, and even try to seduce me into sex. Let us look at the issues that are involved in that type of relationship. If the laws allowed me to have sex with her, I would notice. I mean, that's fucked up right there, isn't it? I hadn't even taken that line into account, but yeah. So, if the laws allow me to have sex with her, I would notice she is beautiful in a sexual manner. I would look at her and know I could sexually touch her freely while receiving little or no resistivity. She would, and I think resistivity, although I don't think it's an actual word, but may give you a clue as to what kind of fucking sick shit this guy is into. She would respond to my touches similarly as an adult female. She would look beautiful having an orgasm. She would even look beautiful masturbating herself to orgasm. That is all well and normal, but the other issues are apparent. She would trust me to take good care of her sexually. She would not regard laws or philosophies as anything to cause her to change her mind. She would rely on me not to make her pregnant. She understands how her body works and likes to feel pleasured by wanting me. She wants to share pleasures. She may not be aware there are diseases that some people spread sexually. She completely trusts me to not have a disease. Even though I do not have a disease, she may desire someone who does. What the fuck? She trusts me completely. Imagine if I was having sex with her. I could not go deeper than half of an inch in her. We are feeling pleasured together. We moan, then stop. After 3 spurts, my juices come out of her similarly to an orgasm. Her trust may be betrayed, but she still trusts me. She may be pregnant. That would cause her misery from her parents and friends. She may be naive to many aspects of love and sex. All of these things may cause severe damage to her love, sexuality, and trust. It is for that reason, as well as she should wait until a later age to be sexually active. That is not a good thing to have her, no matter how beautiful it may seem. Generally, the age of 40 is best to become active sexually.
What's he rattling on about altogether?
Well, that's the thing. It's all like this horrible, weird fucking pedo fantasy, and then at the end he decides no one should have sex until they're 40 years old.
Is it a way of him trying to not get his stuff taken down from MySpace? Because why would this be allowed to be?
The guy, in my opinion, he's wearing a tinfoil hat, but he's also got these really dark, disgusting undertones in every one of his blogs. And I found a place where he blogs things even darker than this, which I will get to that eventually. I mean, this compared to some of the stuff I read that he's written earlier is fucking strawberries and cream. This is he's got a really twisted view, but yet it's so ridiculous. It's so difficult to take seriously. Hey Rocker, hey everyone that's come in. Sorry, I'm just having a quick look at the chat now. Miss Nikki, Spazzy. I hope I pronounced your name right, Spazzy. It's a pretty cool name actually. May 66, of course. Q Mark. Right. So, oh well, yeah. Emily's just said as well. It's written disjointedly. It's fucking. The guy, like, I'm having to fill in where the spelling mistakes because, so if I say something, I say the instead of they, for example. That's because I'm reading it direct from his blogs. So what? Anyway, Andy, before we move on to the next one, so what? Because I would say that last one was getting quite weird, to be honest.
I'd love to have a Skype chat with him. Let's just put it that way.
That might be possible, but I think, to be honest, in my opinion, that's obviously I know more because I've planned all of this and everything. But I think he needs to be investigated by the police, in my personal opinion.
Well, you never know. It might be someone who is currently being investigated by the police, or I was going to say in prison, but you shouldn't be allowed access to the internet when you're in prison, although it does happen.
Well, that's what really worries me. And this guy has been writing stuff for a long time. And I'll tell you guys in the chat who are listening, like, I kind of had a bit of a crisis about whether or not I should do this. And Andy helped me with it by saying, well, if he's talking about kids in a sexual way, then fuck him. So, yeah, maybe we can help someone by exposing
You shouldn't
this.
be allowed to write shit like that on MySpace. I don't know what the crack is with moderation of MySpace or what is allowed and what isn't, but you know, it shouldn't. The stuff he's putting on there shouldn't be allowed.
No,
basically.
It shouldn't, and that's why we're posting the links, guys. Please do report his account. We do not want anyone to come to any harm, and maybe this is all fantasy in his mind, but fuck, it's really fucked up fantasy. So I'm going to move on to the next. Jess, yes, he does have a YouTube channel, and it's got some really weird shit on it. He's a really weird guy. Now, we should kind of explain, both Andy and I have seen his Facebook page, and he doesn't have a single male friend. They're all Asian young women on his MySpace page, and the way he talks is as if he's in relationships with all of these girls, even though mostly they're probably...
Yeah, anybody that's on the sort of... has got the ability to go on Facebook at the moment, have a look, type in Robert... What's his name? Just type in his name, Hocker, Robert Hocker.
Andy, just a few people are asking what are we actually talking about. I suppose maybe I should put the links in the description, but I don't really want to. But yeah, feel free to post out the links as we go along. We're on the third one now. Right, okay, so this post is, and the thing is, because I found all this stuff by looking through his Facebook page, and he would have a Facebook comment saying, go and read my latest blog or whatever. And so I assume these are addressed to the people on his Facebook friends that he thinks he's in relationships with. So this one is called To All of My Girlfriends. And this is what Robert thinks of his girlfriends. None of you are to have anyone for a boyfriend. I am the only one that you can love. I am the only one that can make love in you without you being enslaved to love. Though you may be loved, you are free to live you desire, with the exception of having a lover, boyfriend, or husband. I am very greedy, selfish, and possessive, yet I love many females. Even as a wife, you could be with me whenever you desire. You are not obligated for anything. Wait, I've read this. I've gone back to the first one. Sorry, guys. I do apologise. Right, sorry. Yeah, I went back to the first one. I had a little bit of a brain episode. That's what happens. sometimes. Right, males who desire numerous partners is the next blog post. There are many males who desire numerous partners. They do not desire girlfriends or marriage. They think only of what they want and not what females want. They are very greedy and selfish. I want numerous females, but I a different way. I love them too much. I not only want them for my wives, but I want to rape them and force them to be my wives. I want to love them all over inside and out. I realize I cannot have them, so I do not pursue them. I chase them all away. It is I do not want them. It is I do not want them to be hurt. If I could, I would take them all for my wives. You already know I rape many of my girlfriends. I do not rape all of the females I love. Some do not desire me at all. I refuse to force them to be a slave to my love, no matter how much I want them. I could not be happy knowing they would be miserable being with me. I would be miserable knowing they are miserable. If I rape them, fucking hell, man, this is quite hard to read, to be honest. If I rape them, I have to first know they do not mind being raped. Otherwise, I just walk away. I have over 400 million girlfriends. Literally, I want all beautiful females for myself. None of us are compatible, so I do not have them. Every day there are hundreds waiting for me, but I chase them away. Most of them are from 1 to 40 years of age. Did you hear that, Andy? Yeah. Some of them just infuriate me by teasing me. I usually rape them and make them smell by mating scent all over them. I say, see what you did? Smell our scents mixed together? That is what it smells like to make a baby. I send them home after we take our own love back. Things like that can be avoided. Many females lose their virginity teasing me. They have to learn the hard way. They still persist after that, but I keep chasing them away. What did you make of that?
Well, the more that we sort of read, the more I just think he's clinically insane. Because it's just, I mean, clearly, you know, Jesus Christ, I'm not trying to patronise anybody. The guy's got quite obvious, quite pronounced mental health issues. But he's also quite dangerous. Well, he's going into a public forum to express himself. This is how he gets satisfied by doing this, doesn't he? So how far would he take it is what I'm concerned about.
Well, that's... I mean, it worries me even that it's taken us this long to... The thing is, he's so fucking... It's all convoluted the way he talks, because it's almost like, to an extent, maybe he knows it's a fantasy. But that's some dark, dark motherfucking shit. I mean, I don't care who you are. You don't start... And I said it before, and I might be sitting here now because I'm on my second channel, so I smoke weed like a bad boy. But I'm very naive, and I don't really like to think about the horrors of the world. I enjoy watching like true crime shit and stuff like that, but in my personal opinion, these fantasies are way... Even if you have those fantasies, you should keep that shit to yourself. I mean, they must be quite pronounced in your mind if you're fucking writing blog posts about them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that this guy's sick as fuck. You know, that goes without saying. But it's like, it'd be interesting to speak to him. It'd also be frustrating because you probably wouldn't get anywhere. And
he would just talk random shit. This is a guy, like, I came across this guy because he told me he writes laws and he works for the United fucking Nations. He like, in his mind...
Probably does.
Maybe he does, you know, but I very much doubt it. Because if he really did, I would be up for the death penalty by now. In fact, yeah, I don't know what I'm worried about. Weed is legal where I live, guys. So yeah, because I just don't. I think on this channel, what we're talking about, hopefully everyone is over the age of 18. I just don't want to be a bad role model to people. So that's why I try to keep my smoking off camera. Right. So that might be. Right, yeah, shit, that's the last of the links I have here. But Andy, are you ready to go through the looking glass?
Yes, what we're going to look at now.
Now we're going to go to his fucking blogger page.
Right, that's through his MySpace. You mean the blog archive on his MySpace page?
No. I mean, if someone piques my interest, I have ways and means.
You want to send us a link?
Let me see if I've got the right thing here. Hold on. Yeah.
Are we not reading? Should we not read what it says about the scam baiters first?
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess I kind of assumed everyone, most of the people in the chat would know about the scam baiters. But yeah, the same for... Well, if you don't mind, Andy, why don't you read that one out?
Yeah, I'll just, before I start reading it, I'll paste the link. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. Sorry for the sniffling. I'll paste the link into the chat so people can have a look at it themselves.
I mean,
and
guys,
this is why
it's so ridiculous. It seems like we've made it up or created it ourselves or something. It's just beyond belief, to be honest.
I think I might have already posted this link, but anyway, hang on. Yeah, so as you guys click on the link, it's got the guy's picture on the right where it says about me and then Robert Hocker. He's got 70 followers. Where the fuck have those followers come from?
I expect they're mostly scammer women from his Facebook thing.
Ironically, probably the only people that are paying any attention to his sites are us.
Well, but someone needs to fucking pay attention to this. Imagine if in a year's time you hear about him doing something fucked up to a girl or a young girl or something.
Oh no, he only has one follower. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. It said follow and then 70 and then it says followers and then there's just one person.
It said 70 to me on his Google Plus.
Right, but the Google Plus is different to MySpace.
Oh yeah, I don't know if anyone follows him on MySpace.
Yeah, on his MySpace, which he's spent a lot of time doing, he's got one follower called Jessica Breen. Poor girl. Or Brian, whatever. Right, so yeah, this was posted on Sunday the 6th of August. So when did you first become aware of this guy, Adam?
I literally, within kind of the last couple of weeks, like I noticed a couple of messages from him maybe a week or maybe a little bit longer ago, but I only actually paid attention and read any of his stuff like 2 or 3 days ago.
It's interesting because he's posted this after he's become aware of you for whatever reason. I think this is my betting on what kind of person he is. He's someone who's unemployed. He's unable to work because he's got some kind of personality disorder. He's isolated. He doesn't have any friends. And basically, all his life comprises of is sitting in his room and fucking posting shit on his MySpace and trying to get attention. That's the kind of character we're dealing with. And that's the thing. If you're unemployed and you live in a country that has a benefit system, you can live not a comfortable life at all, but you can live a life where you've got enough money to feed and clothe you, have a roof over your head, and have internet access and get a cheap computer. So what I'm trying to say is anybody can fucking do this, can't they?
Yeah, anyone can.
I think that's what type of character we're dealing with.
All of these blog posts and stuff, they've been going on for over like 4 years, man. I think it's not a troll. It's not a fucking character he's made up to get attention.
I think we've established it's kind of a real person. So let me just go through this bit. This is, guys, if you followed the link, you're probably reading it anyway, but I'll read it out. Scammers infiltrated by scam baiters, which is Adam, as a scam baiter, not a scammer. Since scam baiters have been calling scammers, scammers have become very infuriated. I said infiltrated, didn't I? Scammers have become very infuriated and causing life-threatening situations, such as, grammar's not the best, scammers hired poor innocent people to work for them. Those people are hostages. Okay. Some scam baiters tell workers to leave their jobs and they will not be harmed. In fact, they would be killed. Maybe. Is there any truth to that, Adam?
No, well, personally, after I've come across this other stuff, what I think is, because I don't think it's that article. He wrote another article about me, and it was the one where I mentioned the Indian lady getting gangbanged. I thought it was like he was like the biggest social justice warrior ever, but my theory now is it was his fantasy in his mind, and he just couldn't keep it there. He had to write about it. It's like it fucking got him. I'm sorry to be graphic, people in the chat, but like it got him so fucking excited, the thought of an Indian lady being gangbanged, that he's trying to protect her because he wants this Indian lady to be one of his fucking girlfriends worldwide.
That's a really good way of putting it, that, Adam. I think I'm starting to understand what type of guy this is, and he's a brilliant sort of example of your modern loser, your modern misfit who doesn't have the sort of ability to get a job or form real relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a degree of intelligence in that he can operate a computer effectively. He can communicate to a degree, and because of the internet, it gives a platform for people like this to express themselves where they think they are being paid attention to.
Yeah.
One could argue that because he is doing it on an online platform, he would be less likely to do it in a real life way.
It still doesn't make it okay, though.
No, I'm not suggesting it's okay at all. Of course, I'm not. But what I'm trying to say is, I mean, we're going to a different point. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't know. That's a different topic. You know, we're never going to come to a conclusion. Right. Anyway, so I'll carry on. Some scam baiters sexually harass innocent females with obscene phone calls. Well, I mean, I don't know if he's talking about you, but we all know that's not true. You basically take the piss out of them.
Yeah.
Which clearly they should be having the piss taken out of them.
I've made the odd video here and there where I've gone over the top or I've taken things too personally, but you know, I learned as I was going, as I was making the videos. I don't think any of my videos I've actually just literally phoned them up and... Oh, I mean, I did do 3 or 4 videos called Insult 101 and etc. with the fake IRS, but like I've never just been full out abusive to these people.
Of course not, and anybody that's listening to this will know that. But what he's done is he's taken some of what you've done and twisted it quite intentionally, and it's interesting why he's targeted you.
It's okay. I have a theory on this, and it might. He
wants to have sex with you. Is that what you think?
No. No. My theory might sound a little bit pretentious, though. But I tend to get a lot of very attractive women messaging on my videos.
You pretentious bastard. Right, let's stop there, ladies and gentlemen. Please unsubscribe yourself from all of Adam's channels.
Fuck you.
And send him loads of hate mail and call him the wanker that he is.
No, because that was actually very nice to my female subscribers, because they're all very attractive ladies. And I think this guy is so... He's targeted the scam baiting channel that has the best female retention. Not water retention, just normal female retention. I
think Rocker's on the... I'm just looking at the comments. Rocker's on his Facebook page by the looks of it. So I think people are just starting to check him out for themselves.
But that's what I mean, though. He's...
It's interesting. I'm sort of glad you brought this to our attention, really.
Well, I couldn't really resist it, but maybe, I mean, the thing is, if this is all a plan for him to get a few more female subscribers, then he's very clever. However, all of these blogs and things would make me think different, and they are fucking horrible. And we haven't gone through the looking glass yet. I haven't taken you to the blogger posts yet, Andy. And when we get there, I only found these this evening, literally like half an hour before I did my stream.
Let's. Can I just continue with the scam page?
Of course, yeah. Sorry.
Right. Some scam baiters stated they were going to make the innocent female worker into a sex slave. Scammers scam because they were poor. To prevent death from poverty, they scam. Scammers, right? He's talking about scammers now, not scam baiters.
No.
Yeah. Scammers scam because they were poor. To prevent death from poverty, they scam. That's not true at all. They are similar to the farmers Stalin and Lenin starved in Russia. The starvations ended up in genocides. The same will happen to innocent harassed by scam baiters. The new international laws will pose severe penalties for the scam baiters. Is these just laws that he's just deciding that should happen in his own new order?
Yeah, apparently he writes laws. That's what he told me.
This takes it a step further in his brain. It's like he's got some kind of like international justice thing going on in his head, where he's got some kind of like, you know, delusions of grandeur, like I said earlier.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He thinks he says what a new law should be, and that will happen.
Have we got any other photos of him other than that one with the silly glasses and the bizarre haircut?
If you scroll down far enough on his Facebook, you'll find some pretty. I mean, he always looks horrible in every photo.
Did you just call him pretty?
No, I was going to say you find some pretty weird photos, but then I cut myself off mid-sentence. Brad, I think this guy now, and once we get into kind of the more blog things, Lorne lives in a fantasy land. This guy lives in a far, far away land.
Hang on a minute. Let's just realise the gravity of what we're saying here, Adam. Are we saying that we found someone even more delusional and fucked up than Lorne?
I'm going to say yes. I would say so.
That's quite a bold statement.
I would say it would be very easy to catfish this guy if we say, for example, we had a young Asian friend who was like 25 years old who would be willing to go on a quick video chat with him. I think we could take all of his money and
that's provided he's listening to your second channel.
Yeah, true. But I'm just saying there is something all the way through this guy. He's kind of convoluted in what he says. However, you can see at the root of it, the one thing he comes back to is his attraction to fucking. I mean, not to fucking. His attraction to girls. You look at his MySpace and the people.
It's naivety as well, because in order for someone to post these kind of things, he must think that someone's paying attention to it. And clearly, apart from us, and we're doing it for...
Yeah, no one is. We are probably the first people to ever do this. I think this makes for very interesting content, and I hope that it will warn people off someone like this. I mean, it's as I said earlier, like, people can have whatever fantasies they want, but the different, like, if you go to the extent where you write so much about paedophilic tendencies or rape, and it's got to be in this guy's mind somewhere. Whether or not he's done it, I know, and we'll when we get through the proper looking glass and I read you the next stuff, you'll understand just how twisted and wrong this guy. I mean, this guy thinks he's had sex with Britney Spears.
Well, to be honest, so have I in my dreams.
Yeah, but in his mind, his dreams become real. And it's very different. Like, to an extent, you can almost say in some of the things he writes, he understands that it's not really happening. But the way he writes is horrible. And there's I hope the guys in the chat, as long as you're ready for it, I'll read it out in a bit. There was one bit, and it was enough to make my stomach kind of turn, because he talks a lot about rape, and it's a subject I fucking hate, like. And it's almost like it's all he thinks about, all his sexual fantasies is rape, and it's fucking horrible.
Could that be because it's the only way that he could see himself engaging in sexual activities, because he's had so little sort of luck with female, well, not luck, but so little success with females? That's just a theory. I see that you've responded to message. He's actually responded to you directly, Adam.
Yeah, well, yeah, because
I didn't know that.
well, first of all, I put a Google Plus comment just responding to what he'd written about me.
This is typical Adam. This is brilliant. This Adam's first line of his response to him is, "What a load of bollocks." Well done, sir.
If there's anything you can say about me, I'm British.
Well, yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. Get a real job at the end. Fantastic. Couldn't have worded it better myself. I would have left the real out though.
Just get a job. Yeah. No, but that was at the end of his post he had made about me and how I should face the death sentence. So I read that, and of course immediately replied just saying, like, yeah, what a load of fucking bollocks. You don't understand what a scammer is or what happens in the world. Get a real job and stop wasting your time. Because this guy, however, all this stuff...
Halliwell, sorry to interrupt you, Adam. Lee Halliwell's just said something quite interesting in the comments, and said that he believes that the guy's a troll. He's targeting you, stand against one. But does as Lee just joined us, does he not know that that he's got blogs going back to 7 years ago, and they're all the same, they're all of a similar nature? Could you actually, is it possible to fake that, Adam? In other words, is it possible to create a page and somehow make it that there was blogs posted from years ago?
If you had the technological know-how, then yes. I just don't think someone who had the technological know-how to put retrospective blogs would go to this kind of effort. And in fact, Lee kind of has mirrored exactly what you said to me, Andy, when I first told you about this. And he's targeted the two things I fucking hate, which is like taking the innocence of children and rapists. So yeah, it's almost like this guy is perfectly set up to be my arch nemesis. Almost to an extent, it's a bit too perfect. Because anyway, like I'm very open to the idea that I'm getting trolled. I just don't think he would have gone to, all of this stuff we're reading, it's not coming from one site. He's got something on Blogger, he's got something on MySpace, he's got something on Facebook.
Yeah, in other words, I think what we're saying is, if it is like a troller and he's technologically advanced enough to do that, fuck me, you've made an enemy, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I just don't see it. And if at the end of this, the guy turns around and says, I fucking trolled you because I knew those were the things you would hate, I can't really go, oh, no, you got me, can I? Yes, I hate rape and paedophiles. It doesn't really make me look like a bad guy, does it?
No, I mean, I think, everybody that's here thinks the same thing. It's interesting from a morbid perspective, because we love delving into these people's minds, and he could come across as a really interesting character for all the wrong reasons, couldn't he?
Absolutely.
Just like, he's like a step above Lorne in every aspect, in that his delusions of grandeur are even bigger, his fantasies are even darker, his social misalignment is greater, it would seem. You can tell that can I just read the response that he said to you? Can we go into that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's open that up.
Well, actually, you should read it. It's the response to you. Do you just want to go into?
You've got the page
because
there.
it's quite key to, you know.
Right, hold on. Well, you've got the page there, and also I really need to quickly take a slash.
Right, you go and have a slash, and I'll read this.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you go on his, I'll post the link to what I'm looking at for any new people that don't want to scroll back. Adam, this guy responded to a comment that Adam said. Let me just post it in on the page. Hang on a minute. So I've just posted the link now. And if you want to scroll to the bottom of the page where there's comments, and it's that guy's put something on there, and Adam's responded, like I said earlier, what a load of bollocks, blah, 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 blah. And then he's responded here, and he said, you have no idea what I'm referring to. You do not interview the scammers I'm referring to. They are militant and will not hesitate to kill. What you are referring to, I have heard of. You may know more about them, but I am not really concerned about them due to government obviously being capable of handling them if necessary. My job involves international justice. Right. Well, that could mean many things. Does that mean he's some kind of like self-appointed vigilante? International justice. You do not know anything regarding the laws. Telephone abuse is illegal in any countries. Sometimes the charges are misdemeanors, but higher crime charges apply to scammers I refer to. I thank you for your data. That enlightened me to other scammers I have knowledge of. I will look into them. Try to check out these videos for validity. I do not have time for them. I mean, and then I'll obviously look at Adam's response, and then at the end, you were a sick man. Oh dear. But it's what's quite interesting about that is he doesn't seem to get very offended by what Adam has said. Other than sort of say, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Usually when someone insults you like that and says, you know, you're talking bollocks, get a real job, you'd immediately start going, you know, fuck you, who are you talking to kind of thing. But this guy, he's on some kind of crusade, isn't he? It's all very strange.
Right, I'm back. Yes, he's on some kind of... I don't know if you could describe it as a crusade. I think it's just like he's using the internet to write about his fantasies. Now we'll never know.
It's like he believes it though. I get the impression, because what I said, I don't know whether you heard what I was talking about. Oh, he says he's self-employed. Fucking hell, he says he lives in Texas.
And this is a guy that fucking claims to be working with the United Nations. Right. Now, I was quite intelligent today, and I learned how to open up 2 Windows browsers so that I could read you some of Robert Hocker's blog posts. Now, if you thought...
You're gonna have to send me the link.
Right, yeah. I need to send you the link to this. Hang on. Let me see if I can find... Alright, I'm going to send you the link to this, but from this you can find lots of the other ones. Right, hang on, Andy. I'm going to send this through to you now. Right, sorry guys in the chat, bear with a second. Pardon me. Oh, sorry, there's kind of a hiccup. But hybrid. Right, I do apologise, that'll be all the Red Bull. So just explain to me, are you going to post that link onto the live chat and then people can view it themselves? Shall I? Yeah, I'll post this link onto the live chat now actually, so I'll let you guys know. But yeah,
But
things.
what is this? Is this a part of MySpace? What we're looking
No,
at?
no, this is a different website.
But it's coming under the MySpace banner.
Is it? No, it
Well,
shouldn't be. Should
well,
be blogspot.com.
blogger.com, but it's the same thing as MySpace though. But it doesn't matter. The point
Right.
is, it's a similar thing to MySpace where you create your own page, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like I think MySpace came out before Facebook, didn't it?
Oh yeah, miles before. I was on MySpace before. Then Facebook just kind of ruled the world, and now I hate all of them anyway. All the social
Hey,
media stuff.
we need to do a video on that. But that's for another time, isn't it?
Yeah, we do. I can't be dealing with Facebook. Okay. Now, okay, and this is why we kind of know to an extent this guy isn't just a troll who's been set up to troll me as best. It's almost like too perfect's the wrong word to use here, but like someone that I would clearly make my arch nemesis. So I'm going to read you something from Robert Hocker's blogspot called "My Sexual Fantasies Explained."
This is Friday the 28th of Feb 2014. Apparently.
Yes, so this is long before I had any kind of YouTube or internet presence. So
or even speech.
Exactly. This has been. You can't say he did this to wind me up if he's written it 2 years before I had 3 years. Wait, 2014, 15, 16. Yeah, 3 years before I fucking started doing YouTube. Right, My Sexual Fantasies Explained, and again now we're going back into the words of Robert Hocker, not my words. My Sexual Fantasies Explained. The reason I create my sexual fantasies is to make my beautiful female friends and girlfriends have sexual pleasures. I desire to really do those things to them, especially with rape. The reason I desire to rape most beautiful females worldwide is due to how beautiful they are. I do not have time to try to be romantic, go on dates, or even wait for them. I do not want to take any chance that someone else will take them from me. I only have enough time to try to make them desire and want only me for themselves. If I could, I would make love and sex slaves out of all of them. Of course, without making slaves of their minds, I do not desire to control their minds. In true love, a male approaches a female to show attraction. If she responds, the male keeps showing more and more until she takes his offer to love her. Then she accepts. He tries to show her he is the best for her, and no one could be better. Sometimes she will leave. She lets him know he is not perfect for her. He will leave also. Sometimes she will acknowledge he is the perfect one for her. Both of them become impatient and try to marry at the earliest possible time. To eliminate the possibility they will break up at a later time in their life. I feel the same way for my beautiful friends and girlfriends. Sometimes I wonder if I show them enough love. I know I cannot have them, but I do not want to lose them either. I know I cannot make them a love or sex slave because most are unwilling to do that. I keep it as a fantasy. So what do you make of that, Andy?
Some of it appears like it's just because it isn't written from a certain perspective. It's kind of some of it's just ramblings. For instance, he's going on saying, I've got all these girlfriends and I've got this and that. And then at the end he says, most of them are unwilling to do that. I cannot make them a love or sex slave. It's all very strange. It's like I said earlier, he's trying to get his fantasies, as it says, out there because he can't do it in his own life. Some people just keep it subdued. He's trying to do it online. He's trying to express it online. It just what why does he say rape at the beginning?
Why does he say rape at all? He's a fucking horrible human being. I'm about to say something that might get me in trouble with YouTube.
Well, I don't see how it could, but
that shouldn't be allowed to live. I mean, alright, fuck it. If it's your fantasy, I don't get the rape fantasy culture, but if it's your fantasy, fine, but it has to stay there. Why the fuck do you need to put it online for the world to see?
Well, you don't, but it's like I've said, for this guy, he's obviously deeply disturbed, he's a social outcast, he's someone who can only express himself this way. It's like I said earlier, the internet is just a perfect platform for people like this. You know, this is why it's kind of an interesting subject. Lorne was able to express himself because he wanted to find a sweetheart and he didn't care how old they were. This guy is similar in some ways, but takes it to another level because Lorne has the ability to interact with people and hold a conversation. I don't think this guy would be able to in real life. I don't think he'd have a single friend.
No. Who would want to be friends with a guy like this? What the fuck is wrong with him? Sorry, I'm quite angry, to be honest, because of just the way he talks about things.
I don't feel that anger because I know it's. I'm not saying he isn't wrong, because of course he is, and he should be incarcerated at the very least.
Someone needs to be keeping an eye on people like this. Arnold said, "Why are we giving him our time?" Arnold, the reason we're giving him our time is because this guy might hurt someone, in my opinion.
Oh, totally. Yeah, if anybody knows him and brings it to light, then brilliant. Because you shouldn't be posting stuff like this. That's quite obvious. But I still can't understand how this stuff hasn't been taken down.
No, I don't know either.
I mean, is it because it's on platforms that are not being regulated anymore?
I don't know. I mean, you look, sex offenders can have fucking YouTube channels now, can't they? So, I suppose so. No one's on MySpace anymore, so we can write all this horrible shit there. Now, I really want to find... I think it might be the last kind of... We'll have a big discussion afterwards about what we think of Robert, but I really want to find what I found one of the most disturbing pieces by him. So, sorry for saying so much. Oh, for fuck's sake.
What?
I keep saying between every word, and I can't stop it.
That's a combination of drugs and alcohol.
Maybe. Oh, what a cunt. Right.
Funny.
If I could just even keep my mouth shut, it's just like I need to stop saying things all the time. Where I found it earlier, and I'm not sure in what year it was of his blogs. I've read you the sexual fantasies one. There was one. It was it's called like his ex-girlfriends or something.
Well, there's a lot of blogs that he's had here, going back to 2009 by the looks of it. So you've got a lot of Robert Hocker complete profile. Oh, fucking hell, have you read that?
No. Read it out, Andy.
Oh, mate, it's like pages long. I mean, fucking pages. I don't know whether it's something he's wrote. It just says career profile, but the heading is astrology.
Right.
He describes himself as an intellectual and versatile Gemini. You do well in careers that... Hang on. Career profile. As an intellectual and versatile Gemini, you do well in careers that deal with processing and distribution of information and knowledge. So it's not something that he's wrote. It's something that he's copy and pasted and put on there by the looks of it.
Okay, well, I found what I wanted to read you. And what's really just depressed me as well a bit, guys, is that he posted this on my birthday 2 years ago. It was literally on my birthday. So while I'm having a great time getting drunk and stoned, there's some cunt out there.
Getting rejected by women, getting slapped.
Well, at least I'm not writing about fucking raping them, am I? Sorry. This guy's got under my skin quite a lot.
You shouldn't let him.
No, I shouldn't. But the fact that even someone should be allowed to write about this, such dark stuff, is disgusting. Right, I'm going to read this out to you guys. And this is what I was talking about when I said to you before, Andy, do you want to go through the looking glass? Because we're about to go through the looking glass.
Right, you're going to have to tell me where you're looking now.
Hold on, I'll send you the link.
But you're still in his blog page, aren't you?
I'm on the, but not the MySpace blogs now. I'm on blogspot.com.
Because as well, I think it's worth sort of remembering. You know, everybody that's here now, we're on YouTube for a bit of fun and whatnot, and you know, it's fun to interact with people and things like that. But people like this guy, your whole life will become YouTube. It's your only social interaction is through the internet. So just imagine what it's like having a life like that. You know, it's no. I'm not justifying it at all, but what I'm saying is, it can create a monster like this guy because you've got access to everything, haven't you?
Yeah, well, kind of the issue I had with even making this video at all was if people just think that I'm like butthurt because he came after me in the first place. But it's really not. I think this is a public... Anyone who writes shit like this should be fucking locked up.
Yeah, you're right.
And that might make me sound like a social justice warrior, but...
Oh, no, he's advocating rape.
Yeah.
I mean, what more do you need?
And now, I'm going to read this to you. And we're going to go really through the looking glass and see just how mental this motherfucker is.
This is a long fucking... You know...
Oh, yeah, it's long. I'm sorry, guys, if you get bored. This is a long post, and it goes all over the place. And, of course, this is, from now, it's Robert Hocker's words, not mine. I sent Andy the link, so if Andy wants to post it in the chat, that would be a great help as well.
Yeah, I'll just wait up. I'll do it now.
Okay, and this is from his Blogspot thing, and it's called My Ex-Girlfriends. Okay, and it says, these are a few of my ex-girlfriends. Ruth Guerri, River Recon. I met her in the 1980s. She is one of the most absolutely beautiful females worldwide. The amount of times this guy says worldwide, you'd think he's fucking Pitbull or something. Anyway, he says, one of the most absolutely beautiful females worldwide. I wanted her for my wife. She was taken to Playboy Mansion by people who deceived her. I still kept her for myself. I never really wanted to leave her. We had sex occasionally. Note, I had to separate due to intense electronics warfare attempts to locate her. The thing is, that just shows what a tinfoil hat wearer is.
Yeah,
it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I can understand to an extent why you might sort of say, like, well, none of this is true. I hope he's never raped any woman in real life. But the fact he writes about it so much, well, we'll read the rest of this and you'll see what I mean. No, I had to separate due to intense electronics warfare, attempts to locate her. I compare the most beautiful females to her. Gem D is the greatest competitor. Britney Spears. I knew her since she was 15. We had sexual relations eventually. She avoided me after that time. I was persistent to have her, so she resisted. She wrote, I am not a girl, not yet a woman song to show she was not ready for a relationship. So this guy believes that Britney Spears wrote that song about him. Right. We separated, but some of my spirits persisted. She eventually fell in love and became very jealous of my other girlfriends. I saw her and her mother in Galveston, Texas. Since the relationship became abnormal, it was terminated. She became obsessive and selfish. She attempted to take all of my spirit's minds, which began to kill them. A great war began. She was terminated of her memory by me. So he's saying he fucked Britney Spears and then he took away her memory. Right, yeah. She lived happily, but the return of her memories began in progress. Avril Lavigne, the second one I met.
He's done well, this guy.
Yeah, it really
I need
has.
some tips from him.
Yeah.
Britney Spears, Avril Lavigne. Who's next?
Well, we'll wait and
Taylor
see.
Swift, by any chance?
Yeah, she gets a mention. The second one I met, I did not love her, but she loved me. I raped her. I took care of her sexually and loved her as a person, but didn't love her until later. She came to Galveston, Texas, and was immediately attacked by ex-Marine counterintelligence agency Lieutenant Colonel Tidal and street gang rapists. She was captured by a rapist slave trade group. I took her out after raping her in their house, then raped her under my house. When the electronics control group attacked her and tried to get her back, I had her entire band members rape her to take her away from me for her protection. I
think the more and more that I'm reading this guy, he's just insane. He's just insane. I mean, what's the mental health care like in the States? Because in England at the moment, it's beyond appalling. Do people like this get incarcerated permanently?
He should be.
No, I'm asking
like someone should be banning him from putting this stuff online.
No, I agree. Everybody should be allowed to say pretty much anything they want to, but what he's doing is he's advocating, I think we can both agree, probably the worst crime in the history of the planet has ever created, apart from probably genocide. So you shouldn't be allowed to say things like that, should you?
But the thing is, if someone is that far mentally... I apologise for using the words, guys. Some of you might not like it, but I'm going to say it. If someone is that far mentally retarded, he should have someone looking after him and limiting his internet
I think you're missing something here, Adam. Just because he writes all these things out and he believes them, doesn't mean he goes about his day-to-day life like he would believe them. Does that make any sense? For instance, he would reserve himself in a normal day-to-day life to become... He would be conceived as being very... I could picture someone like him who would... he'd be someone who you'd live down the street and you'd go, that guy's fucking weird, and everybody would stay away from him. But he'd go to the shop and he'd say, can I have such and such a thing? And he'd just keep himself to himself. And he wouldn't commit any crimes, so he wouldn't have the means to get incarcerated or detained under like the Mental Health Act. Do you understand what I mean?
Well, I think the first part, yeah, but I think the second part being detained... I mean, someone needs to take a look at this guy.
No, but this is what I'm trying to say. No one would be aware he'd be doing this kind of stuff.
But he is. I mean, surely it's our duty to fucking pass this on to... and I hate that this might sound like I'm sore because he made posts about me and that's why I became aware of him. It's really not that. He talks about... And it's like you said, like he literally is my perfect troll to an extent. He's taken all of the things I fucking despise and turned them into his sexual fantasies that he shares with people online. So, someone needs to have a look at this guy, because what happens if in 2 weeks' time it appears that fucking Robert Hocker fucking has raped a kid and we haven't done anything about it? Fuck that noise, man.
Do you know what though? My impression is he wouldn't. I'm not saying it never happened, but I don't think someone like this would do that.
I get what you're saying.
He's not a danger to people, and I'm not saying he wouldn't want to. My impression of this guy is someone who very rarely ever comes out of his house, lives alone, and he'll die alone. His outlet is the internet. I'm not saying I'm right, because I couldn't ever say I could be in this situation. No one could ever know 100%. But my interpretation of this guy is someone who would never step outside of the online forum because he's got everything that he needs. He thinks he gets attention. He's got access to any kind of information, and he can put himself out there. He can write down on paper, maybe not paper, but you get what I mean. He can write out his sexual fantasies and his rape fantasies and all that nonsense. Do you understand? I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying I'm right, but that's my belief.
But does it not worry you, like, the back and forth, like he does? Sometimes he talks about it like it's a complete fantasy, and he's like, almost to an extent. And some of the way he writes, he like understands none of these women would be. We're talking about a fucking 62-year-old guy. None of these women, but you've seen his Facebook page. Like, I believe he thinks these people are thinking about him, and he's thinking about them.
I think subconsciously he kind of knows.
Oh, can I? Sorry, Amy. I didn't mean to offend anyone using the word retarded. Yeah, mentally ill might be better. Well, mentally sick for this guy. I never mean to intend anyone.
No, we know that. It's just the language that we use. It's not. He's got, what we're trying to say is he's got mental health issues, quite pronounced mental health issues, which is totally, different, isn't it?
But you see, this has been going on for years, and let's say, this might be a bit pretentious, and to an extent,
I'm just going to nip to the blue, by the way.
All right, and let me say to the guys in the audience, what if he is on the verge of doing something really fucked up? And that's the kind of reason he's drawn himself to my attention. That sounds a bit pretentious, and I can be a bit pretentious at times. I am a bit of a cock, but this guy really does need to be reported to someone. TP Hayes, yes, he absolutely did say that he felt that. I don't know if you heard earlier, Andy and I discussed this, but he claims that I was responsible for a female scammer being gang raped. Now, I think this was a fantasy that came from his mind, and he couldn't just keep it to himself. And I think part of that is the reason that I know about him, because he wrote a whole article about me. Brad, you're right. He does need to be reported. I guess a lot of you who have kind of come in now, we're going up in the viewers, which is fantastic. Thanks you guys for joining us. But the reason I know about him is because he wrote an article about how scam baiters should face the death penalty, and he used like 2 or 3 links to my videos saying that I'm abusing people and making obscene phone calls, and that's how I came across him. Then, of course, as always, I like to do my due diligence, and that's how I found out he's such an incredibly messed up guy. And so, to an extent, I can understand, guys, if you think this is all like a big vendetta I might have, but it's really not. I just thought it was a very interesting topic. If you see the video on my main channel I made about him, on my IREX Scammers channel, it was all very tongue-in-cheek and fun, because at the time I did really think he was maybe just a very good troll. It wasn't until I started looking deeper and I've seen just how dark this fucking guy is that I've become a little bit worried.
I mean, what do you think, Adam, right? I said that, in my opinion, he isn't someone that will step out of the online forum, because what you got to remember with a lot of people, they lack it takes a certain degree of, in a lot of cases, bravery, or when you're a psychopath, you're not brave. You just don't have the ability to give a shit what happens to you.
Yeah.
But if you're a certain type of person, you will never. Some people never have the courage to take their fantasies from an online setting to a real setting because they're fearful, because they live in fear. So, do you think, from what you've read about this guy and what we've discussed about him, what do you think? Do you think that he's one of those, or do you think he could have the potential to do that to someone?
It's just personally, it's a risk I wouldn't take. I would, if I could make what happens, whatever my words, I would have a psychologist go and visit him at the first fucking moment. I think to an extent, I do think he's fairly harmless. I looked at his YouTube; it's pretty pathetic and fucked up and weird. But there's been many cases in the past where people have made a lot of warning signs and no one's done anything. I would rather.
Oh, totally.
If it's between him having a decent life or maybe him doing something and harming someone's life, then fuck it. Let's send the FBI. Let's send the police and the psychologist to his house, because that shit is not right whatsoever. Like what he's writing about.
Of course, I think goes without saying. There's something very wrong here. In my opinion, he should be incarcerated for life anyway, in a mental institution where he doesn't even have the potential to harm someone. That's
yeah,
my
if
opinion.
he's even writing about. But I think both you and I, Andy, we're a bit naive and British and reserved and stiff upper lip, and we only ever have missionary sex, and so.
That's the only kind, isn't it?
But I mean, honestly, I don't know if it's my upbringing, but I have and I know we've mentioned it on the streams you and I have done on your channel, but I'm quite naive and I prefer not to imagine that this really bad stuff happens. However, to come across someone who's kind of involved themselves in like what I mainly do on YouTube, perhaps it is a really good troll, but I mean, would you want to even troll like that? But I wouldn't even want to take the risk with someone like this, He's a fucking 63-year-old, 62-year-old guy who's talking about having sex with 12-year-olds. That guy needs, someone to go and have a knock on his door.
Yeah, totally. I mean, at the end of the day, he's 62 and he's writing about these things, right? He's clearly got a pointless fucking life. He should be incarcerated. It's as simple as that. Whether he's going to harm someone or not, the risk shouldn't be taken. But
is that not to an extent? And I'm playing devil's advocate a bit, being the thought police.
Well, you fucking would do, you argumentative twat.
Yeah, I like doing this to you, Andy. Is that not being the thought police? Is it? Can you lock someone up for their fantasies?
Just getting another beer. Well, no, you can't, to be honest. But what he is doing is he's advocating that on a public forum, and that's different for locking someone up for the fantasies.
Yeah, I suppose you can lie in your bed and think about anything you want. Once I even thought about Barbara Streisand, but we won't go into that.
It's an interesting thing to know, and we've talked about this before, and it's something me and you don't quite understand, right? Everybody has their sort of sexual fetishes. I'm not going to go into those from, maybe on another stream. The point is that I watched a documentary on Netflix, and apparently the most popular one at the moment is the idea of having sex with women and then they don't want it, so it's like quite rough and violent, almost borderline rape. And apparently that is the most popular type of videos these days. I don't know what they call it. It's fucked up. So is it like grim. What? So I suppose my point is, I forgot what my fucking point is, but it's related to that. All this
no,
stuff
it is. It's a popular subculture.
I don't quite get it.
No, I get where you're coming from. Like this guy.
I suppose what I'm trying to say is, thousands, if not millions, of people have that kind of fetish, which is viewed as acceptable, which could be. I don't understand it, and I think it's quite disturbing, to be honest. But do you get where I'm coming from? I don't.
Yeah, people have. I mean, people have some pretty messed up. The thing is, I think there's a big difference between if you wanna. Now, personally, I wouldn't do this, but I enjoy. We're getting a little bit deep and a little bit personal, guys. But I enjoy some kinds of role plays that other people might.
Oh my god!
Wait, listen. But no, never the rape role play. That's not for me.
He likes to dress up in Teletubbies outfits.
I'm not going to go into my sexual habits. I will say they're all very vanilla, to be fair. I'm more into the romance side of it, I suppose.
Oh, you
Look,
smooth bastard.
But people are freaky. And that's fine between two loving partners in a bedroom. But rape is never okay.
No, but like for instance, what is it about? What do you think it is about all these people that like this borderline rape stuff? Pretend you don't want it. If you're pretending you don't want it, isn't that rape?
Oh, now you've got into a really complex question here, Andy.
I know. I didn't. If you don't want to go there, that's fine.
No. I just don't think I can because I have no personal experience with that. I wouldn't. I've done role plays with girls. I've had. Should I say this out loud?
Probably not.
No, probably not. In fact, I should probably keep it. But let's just say everything's been agreed beforehand. There's no physical or mental harm. Everything's been talked about. But I've had some.
We know you well enough to know, Adam. You've not forced someone down. But the point is, at what point? What I'm trying to say is, for someone who loves that kind of stuff, pretend you don't want it. I would say you're a sick fuck. Am I being a bit harsh there?
I don't know. I think that's really a question we need to put to the chat. Because I dated a girl that had a rape fantasy. And
she's a sick fuck.
Well, yeah. I wasn't up for it at all, but she settled for a lesser fantasy.
What was that? Kicking her
out? No. No, because it was so fucking dark. It wasn't. Oh, but it wasn't. It was like darkly funny, to be honest. Because she was of Ghanaian descent, and she wanted to do the whole rape thing, and I was like, I'm not up for that. And then she was just like, well, what about you pretend to be my master and I'm your slave? And I was kind of, all right, I'll give that a try.
It's kind of just. I don't know whether you've seen it, Adam. Someone in the chat has said they've got this guy's personal information, including mailing address, physical address, and phone number.
I'm not surprised. It would be quite like the amount of shit he's got online. It's going to be very easy to find that. What I would advise whoever has those details to do is just perhaps make a dossier with all the links we've sent out and send that to the local police force.
It's a funny one, isn't it? It's like, what would you do with this guy? I mean, I've already said my opinion, but could he get prosecuted for writing any of this? I don't think he could.
The thing is, there's so much more, Andy. There's another bit, like, it is, and these are posts from years ago, though, so I suppose it's kind of a double-edged sword, because, well, he hasn't done anything that we know of yet. However, can you let someone like this go on? Maybe it will just build up until they do something. I don't care that he's 30 years our senior. Right, I'm going to read this bit. And now, I didn't find this post itself.
What bit?
Right, this is from one of his blog posts, but I don't know which one.
Right, you're going to have to send me the link then.
I don't have the link. This was copy and pasted by...
Alright, send me the copy and paste then.
Oh, fucking copy and paste
Just
it.
do it.
Oh, alright, hang on. Oh, bollocks, I went too far. Fucking, I hate this trackpad.
No, that's because you've been smoking too much. That's what that is.
Oh, you can never smoke too much. Right, come on. Right, oh, fuck it. I might have to send you a little bit of a personal comment. Don't read out the end, Andy.
Alright, well, no, you're reading it out. I just want to see it.
Alright. You might get a bit extra at the end, I'm not sure. Right, in fact, I'm... Oh. Fuck it, right, I've sent it to you, Andy, now, because you were desperate
Right,
for the
got
link.
it.
We've been going silent, and yet the viewer count is going up. Right, guys, so... Just a little bit more through the looking glass with... what the fuck is his name? Robert Hooker or something.
Robert, is it Hick? I can't fucking remember.
Hocker.
Hocker.
Right, so I'm going to read that out now.
Right, go on then.
Shit, I need to scroll up. There's right, okay, right. So this was a part of one of Robert Hocker's blogs that stood out to one of my friends. So, Major Harris hired Major Bradley to terminate me with homosexuals. Females were being kidnapped by mafia. Harold Fattig used his brown van to kidnap many females. The usual entrapment was to rape females, torture them into submission, have them pretend to enjoy sex, then send their friends and husband the video copies. They also photographed them and placed the photos in Playboy and other magazines. A main method of termination is to rape females by numerous males who raped them every day and night. They only rested when fed, usually after the leader announced his arrival. They injected the females with insulin. They had massive quantities of insulin they received by taking a pill many times a day that produced diabetic type syndromes. Doctors prescribed the drugs. A man named Rick Brown usually injected his victims with warm water and pumped the syringe. He claimed it placed the female in shock. Rick Brown had a brother named John Brown. John had a healthy bodybuilding appearance. They stated they were in charge of raping 12 to 14-year-olds. It's just... Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, that's the end. I mean, what the fuck?
Is that something do we think that's something he's definitely written himself?
Yes, that's from his blog post.
If that is from his mind and his mind alone, this guy should be killed.
That's pretty strong, Andy.
But that is the mind of someone that is beyond help. I know he said he couldn't commit. Someone who thinks and writes shit like that, he's deeply disturbed to the point beyond retribution, in my opinion. Probably say he's been killed. I'm a bit angry as I've said that. But I mean,
no, but I get it.
At the very least, he should be incarcerated permanently with no release ever.
This guy.
At 62, there's no way of curing someone like that.
No, and especially at that age. Like, he might be liable to lash out at someone. So, guys, everyone in the chat, like, he's not a scammer, but this guy could cause people physical harm. Please don't, please. I don't. The thing is, he's such a fucking pathetic bastard. Like, all of the people on his Facebook are literally catfish. But
that was like I wasn't expecting something that dark. As you were reading it was getting too much, and it was like he's gone into it's interesting to study from a really dark perspective, because we've got to look at all angles of human psychology, so it does need to be looked at. You can't hide away from things, but it's incredibly... He's gone into the very, very depths of human depravity. They're talking about drugs and coercion and the links between that and the human body, and it's just very, very, very disturbing, that kind of stuff. He's like some kind of twisted, sick doctor because he's talking about. And the disturbing thing about him is, do you agree, Adam, that he has a degree of intelligence?
I don't know if I'd call it intelligence, but maybe panache. Yes.
I don't even know what that word means.
He knows how to use words to make people.
Yeah, but doesn't that take intelligence, though?
Yeah, I guess so. But I wouldn't say for someone that I would say has intelligence is someone that maintains intelligence the whole time.
No, that's wisdom. That's different.
But this guy's all over the place, so it's very difficult for me to say he's intelligent. But he does have the odd flash of interesting writing in the way he writes. However,
yeah, I suppose what I'm saying is, when you get someone like this who is able to, as you say, communicate effectively, which he can because he can write, and he can come at, like, for instance, if his style of writing was written in a constructive and pleasant way, he would come across as someone who could conceivably be intelligent. So I suppose my point is, it's even more disturbing that someone like this has the ability to communicate like this. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of, people that are into that weird shit, they go on the dark web because they're dark, horrible cunts. And this is what it feels a bit like to me. It's like he's someone who's not intelligent to get on the dark web, but if he did, he would be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, let's just say, for argument's sake, and this is never going to happen, but we had a Facebook interview, Skype interview with him. How do you think it'd go?
I think he would just chat us, call us haters, and say we don't understand. I think he's that far-fetched in his own world. He doesn't give a fuck apart from those fake Asian profiles on his MySpace. I think he would be less amenable than Lorne, to be honest. But that's my personal opinion.
No, I agree.
He said on my channel, because I kind of said a few things to him, because obviously that's the whole reason I've come across him, was from him trolling my main channel. But I said to him, like, you're wearing a I think I said, you wear a tinfoil hat, try taking it off, you might attract more Asian ladies, or something like that. And then he came back saying, I don't care what you or I think or what you think about me. I write the laws, and these are the official laws, and I can't phone people and abuse them, apparently. But he can write blog posts about how he wants to fuck a 12-year-old. What a cunt.
Yeah, it's kind of, one of the things that I always struggle with is, where do you draw the line between mental illness and responsibility? Where is that line drawn, and where does it? And it's one of the old problems we had with Lorne, was we know things that have happened to him in his past now that have affected him. We know he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but we know enough to know that he knew what he was doing was wrong. With this guy, or people like him, where do you draw the line between, like I said, mental illness and responsibility? How do you decipher when someone shouldn't be blamed?
Well, this is exactly why I wanted to make this podcast or video or whatever it is. But it's interesting because I don't know where the line should be drawn. And I figured the best thing I could do to draw attention to this guy is make a video.
Of course, yeah.
So, but where is the line drawn between what you can say on the internet and what you're allowed to do in real life is a much more difficult question. But in my opinion, this guy has crossed that line.
Yeah,
hugely.
I agree. You shouldn't write about things like that. I mean, an interesting comparison, Adam, is when me and you tell jokes to each other, and some of the things that we joke about could be considered dark. In other words, we would make jokes about
fucking kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even I'm glad you said that because I couldn't have brought myself to say it. But the point is, some people would say that you shouldn't joke about that, but me and you both know it's not serious, and it is fucking funny when you, because you always say comedy. Nothing is the way you put it is like nothing is kind of. Nothing is out of reach for comedy, something like that.
Nothing is off limits if it's funny.
Yeah. But some people would disagree with that, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah, but there's people that are dying to reach to arms and shout and say, oh, that's wrong, you can't say that. You know, like when we make a video here and I got children out in the courtyard screaming, like, oh shit, better shut the basement door, the kids are screaming again. It's funny because it's not true. But there's a difference between if I was literally sitting down having fantasies about fucking kids and writing them out and posting them on the internet, I would expect you would report me to the police. I would hope you would report me to the police. There's a huge difference. I don't think, as you said, anything is off limits with comedy. One of my favourite jokes ever, I apologise if people in the chat get offended by it, but one of the best jokes ever is the 4th episode of The Office, when they have the training guy come in, and he's like, right, we're going to do a bit of role play, and then of course Ricky Gervais tries to take it over, and he goes, there's a problem in room 352, and the guy goes, no, and he goes, no, there's a problem in room 352, the guy goes, no, and he goes, there's been a rape up there. But it's perfect comedy. Rape is not a funny subject, but in that context, because it was a funny joke, he was trying to get the guy's attention, so he went as dark as possible. That's funny.
But one of the funniest jokes I've been told, and I'm not brave enough to say it on here, is what one would be conceived as a racist joke. And I know I'm not, so I found it funny. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell it in a public forum for fear of reprisal.
Well, the thing is, I think
you get what I mean?
Yeah, but with actually racist. I hate to sound like a proper fucking social justice warrior here, but racist jokes can easily be changed. Like, I've heard racist jokes and then they're just changed to babies, and it makes it worse, but funnier.
Yeah, but I mean, we're sort of, I suppose we're going on to, we're moving on to other topics now, aren't we? But I suppose that's cool, because
you don't believe that shit deep down. Like, the thing is, like, I think the point I was trying to make, and it might have been a bit lost there, like, with race, it's just making a joke about a group of people. It doesn't necessarily have to be a particular race. It could be a younger group of people or something like that. If it's properly racist, then not really down with that kind of thing.
I'm starting to like giggle now. I'm thinking of the certain jokes, and they are fucking funny. And people, the thing is with racism isn't real. There isn't. If you get down to the very bare bones of it, people like to pick up on differences. And what is more different than the way you look? People will call you different because you might be fat, or you might be short, or you might have no hair, or you might be a funny voice. But the colour of your skin is the thing that stands out the most. So that is what people will throw at you. If it's just a symptom of how fucked up human beings are. And I'm not a fan of human beings.
Yeah, everyone is, I don't know, to an extent everyone feels a certain amount of alienation. But for me, it wouldn't be about race. I just feel alienated because I listen to a lot of Sting. I don't really. I fucking hate Sting. Actually, his music's shit. But let's not get into that.
You don't like Sting?
Well, I mean, Alien in New York was alright, but no. And
I'm not a fan of his last album, but I love Police and the Sting. I must admit.
The Police,
the Police. The Police. I've had a beer, all right. The Police and Sting. Sting and the Police.
Well, yeah. Yeah, they're shit.
Well, we'll have to.
You love loads of terrible music. No, I mean you like you're still living in your Britpop era.
Fucking dead right.
And there were some great songs for Britpop, but all of my Britpop songs weren't the most famous one. Obviously, I like a few of Oasis, and everyone likes a couple of Blur, but I miss the proper fucking Shine 5 indie bands.
Oh, mate, I love some of them. Shine 5 is the greatest fucking compilation ever.
That album had Mum's Gone to Iceland and One Night Stand, The Aloof, One Night Stand. That was like my favourite song forever.
On Shine 5?
Yeah. Trust me. I worked in a record
also
shop.
Had the You and Me song on it, by The One Who Dies, Chasing Paper by Shed 7. There was a song by... Anyway, we're going off topic here. People won't even know what we're talking about.
Well, that's all right. You know, we talk about music and not just horrible internet people. Because I think we've read all of the articles on our...
I don't think we've read all of them. There's a lot more than you realise.
No, there is. If I look on this blogger, there's much, much more. I think I was kind of halfway through reading you something.
Excuse me.
It got too much for me, didn't it? And that's why we quit on it. Yeah, shit. Because he was going on and on about fucking gang rape, and we didn't even get to the end. So I'll read this out. As I've warned all of you guys who are here before, this is kind of dark stuff from Robert Hocker. So where did we get to? This was his thing about the army people. I guess I'll just go from the beginning. Major Harris hired Major Bradley to terminate me with homosexuals. Females were being kidnapped by mafia. Harold Fattig used his brown van to kidnap many females. The usual entrapment was to rape females, torture them into submission, have them pretend to enjoy sex, then send their friends and husband the video copies. They also photographed them and placed the photos in Playboy and other magazines. A main method of termination is to rape females by numerous males who raped them every day and night. They only rested when fed. Usually after the leader announced his arrival, they injected the females with insulin. They had massive quantities of insulin they received by taking a tiny pill many times a day that produced diabetic-type syndromes. Doctors prescribed the drugs. A man named Rick Brown usually injected his victims with warm water and pumped the syringe. He claimed it placed the female in shock. Rick Brown had a brother named John Brown. John had a healthy bodybuilding appearance. They stated they were in charge of raping 12 to 14-year-olds. So, yeah. That's one of Robert's blog posts.
I'm looking at his photos, and there's one of him. I mean, he obviously looks a bit odd to say the least, but there's one that there's him like in a judo outfit, if it's him, from like years ago. I'm trying to work out, you know the one, his main photo with the glasses on? Is he in like some kind of camper van there?
I don't know. I haven't seen that many of his photos. You're looking on Facebook.
It's the main one. If you just look at the background, I think he just goes round because his photographs is him with a camper van, like a caravan.
Miss Kissy, I definitely read the beginning of that already, but the second part I don't think I finished. Please have a coffee, Little Beast is saying. Well, in fact, guys, I don't think I'll be going too much longer, to be honest, but I want to have a proper gathering of what Andy thinks of this guy before we finish. But yeah, I hope any of you that have got his details from the links we've sent you, please do forward them to the local authorities, especially if you're in the States, because they're probably not going to believe us, but people like this should not be allowed outside. No, Frankie, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I would like to think, and maybe it's just me trying to make it as nice as possible, that doesn't make it sound good, but I would like to think he's never had sex with anyone in reality. But I don't know.
Even Lorna, so this guy's got to have done.
Do you think? Do you not think... let me ask you a question here, Andy. Do you think this guy is better or worse than Lorne?
It's a very difficult thing to say that, but I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. On the surface of it, it would appear worse than Lorne, wouldn't it? Because you don't think that Lorne would even advocate the things that he's doing, but yet it's a strange one. I mean, fucking hell, look at some of the shit that he's got on his page, man. Yeah. This guy's fucked up. Lorne's a more simpler character than this guy.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't think Lorne would go to that extent, although... But then you can kind of say this guy, like, he loves writing about himself, doesn't he? Which to an extent may make him a bit more of a, for want of a better word, a romantic, but yet the way he writes and the things he thinks about are disgusting. Like, if someone put this much effort in and said, oh, you know, even if they're a bit stalkery, but it's the fact that he has to add the rapery into it makes him such a horrible, disgusting character.
Of course. I mean, there's lots of things that make him pretty disgusting, isn't there?
And the first Mrs. R is saying this guy is far worse than Lorne. I'd really like, because the first Mrs. R always has a great insight. I'd really like to know why.
Definitely. We're supposed to be doing a video soon, but it just hasn't come about yet. But we're still going to do it, the first Mrs. R, by the way.
I mean, the difference we have between this guy and Lorne, of course, is Lorne we've seen on camera, we've seen him break down, we've seen him go into the... yeah, no, that's a great point, Mrs. R. Lorne lives in reality, but he just chooses what he believes. But yeah, this guy makes... His whole universe is make-believe. But that's the trouble. And with the risk of sounding a bit sci-fi geek like you are, Andy, like what happens when this guy's weird sci-fi world crosses with the real world? That's when someone gets hurt.
Well, yeah, it's like I said before, though, I don't think that it would. But I may be wrong.
I wouldn't want to take that risk. But you were the one advocating he should be locked up based on his posts alone.
I said he should be killed when I read... Well, the reason I said that is because for someone to have the things going round in his mind that he did, he's a genuine danger, even if he lacks the courage. He just shouldn't be alive. Really, it's just the way I felt.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not right, and it does worry me. The thing is, this has gone on for years before we've been aware of it, though, so... What if we fucking uncovered like some horrible serial rapist or killer or something? Maybe we could have done.
Well, if he's brought to justice, then brilliant.
Well, yeah, I hope so. All right. I think we should. Well, wait. What are you up for doing, Andy? Because maybe we can change topic if you want to just have a chat for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple more beers left in me.
I've
Got
got
a
one
few
more
people
vodka Red
watching
Bull.
them. Let's just see how the chat goes.
No, I think it started out pretty well. Obviously, that's a very curious subject, that fucking guy. But yeah, we need to see him brought to justice. But I'm not just in pain. I don't go out running after these people. I've only noticed this guy because he came after me.
Let's talk about something a bit more pleasant, shall we? And we all know Adam's pissed, by the way.
I am pissed. But yeah, I'd love to talk about something pleasant.
Well, should we talk about something that me and you both enjoy doing together?
Anal sex.
Apart from that, video games.
Oh, well, yeah, we love video games.
Just in general, not like one specific game, but like I go through phases of like not wanting to go anywhere near them because I think they're a total waste of time, because it's not a productive thing to do with your time, but yet it's fucking enjoyable. Do you get what I mean? It's like people didn't become millionaires by spending the whole life playing video games, but yet I'm addicted to a game called Watch Dogs 2 at the minute, and I just can't fucking stop playing it.
Why do you like that game so? Because you got this kind of excited over GTA once you first got online as well, and now you've sacked us all off.
No, I still enjoy GTA, but I've got to a point where I don't know. I'm getting more out of playing GTA. Watch Dogs 2, because it's like GTA but from another angle, so I'm getting more fun out of it.
Oh, Terry Moore's asked what was the very first game we ever played, right? And I don't know if you remember this, Andy. In fact, you're older than me, aren't you, Andy? So you might remember it.
Yeah, I am.
There was a game on the Amiga 500, and it was a bit like a precursor to Micro Machines. Now, Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. That was the game I first ever played, and it was insane. And I think it was Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. I might be wrong. I remember enjoying that game, but there was a game, it was like a car game, but it was a bird's eye view game. But between like each race, you would get stopped, and there would be like you would have to have an interview with your sponsor and stuff, and you would have to choose your reply to them. And like you would form your character based on your reply to the sponsor. I'm not sure what that was called. It might have been Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge, but it might have been something else. I remember it was really good though.
I don't remember that one.
What was your first game you remember?
I don't remember. It was a game on the old Spectrum. I can't say which one I played first, but it was probably something like I don't know, like Green Beret, or I just can't remember. Manic Miners, yeah, fucking hell. It probably was something like that. That's fucking brilliant. I had a Dreamcast, Miss Kizzy, and I fucking loved it. I think one of my favourite games playing that was Echo the Dolphin in like 3D. Oh,
I had that on the Mega Drive, Echo the Dolphin.
yeah, I did as well, but the one on the Dreamcast was like a revelation at the time. It was like, it wasn't the best game ever. It lost its way towards the later levels, but it was beautiful to jump in and out of the water with this fucking dolphin.
Yeah.
They could make a really great game out of that now if they tried, but there's nothing like it really. Yeah, my games collection was used as well, Miss Kizzy, but towards the end of the Dreamcast life, they started to very easily get copied games, which of course I never advocated. But yeah, fucking hell, there was some amazing games on that. I think Metropolis Street Racer, there was a Sonic game, there was some Soul Calibur, which is like a fighting game. Fucking hell.
I bet I was the only one here that had an Atari Jaguar.
Fucking hell, I think you were. I do remember the Atari Jaguar, but I never had one.
It was the first 64-bit console, but no one except me bought it. I was literally the only kid playing that fucking console.
Hey, if you think about the failed consoles over the years, there was a lot, you know. And Dreamcast, I don't think you could put in that category, but do you remember the Panasonic 3DO?
I remember reading about it before it came out, and I was really excited, and then no one
Mega
liked
CD. There was the Neo Geo.
it. But the Mega CD and the Neo Geo, those were for really, really posh kids that their parents could afford to buy them proper arcade games.
Yeah.
No, I got the Atari Jaguar. I pled with my mum for it, and she eventually agreed to buy it for me. And then I was like, oh, this is that, and that's when Atari died. Was after that console, and then everyone went to Sony or Microsoft or PlayStation.
Yeah, I remember when I showed my friends, like, I got a PlayStation before my friends did. And I remember saying, come round, I'll show you this game. And they're all like, yeah, whatever. And they came round and I showed them Tekken, the first Tekken game. It might have even been Tekken 2.
Yeah, it would have been, because the original Tekken was arcade.
It was, and we all got, like, obsessed with fucking Tekken. I mean, what a fantastic game.
Yeah. I remember playing that in an arcade just on the outskirts of Belfast with like all my mum's side of the family. I was like, this game's amazing.
It's brilliant.
Just pleading my mum for 50p pieces to play more Tekken.
And you know, there's one of them on the PS4 as well, Tekken 7, I believe.
I should check that out. I used to love Tekken, but it's been a long time. I haven't played any kind of street fighting games for a long, long time.
Yeah, they still make them.
Well, I should get on that. Right. Well, I think we've had a nice chat to get rid of all the horrible rapey talk out of our minds afterwards. So now we're just talking.
Well, I'm going to start be thinking about the rapey talk again before I go to bed.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk more about this guy tomorrow, I'm off all weekend. Like, it's some messed up shit, man. But yeah, guys, don't go near a guy named Robert Hocker, because he looks to be a rapist. I don't know if there's ever been before an uncovering of someone like this on YouTube itself. This could be groundbreaking material. You know, this.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to know more about this guy. Can I just ask a random question of the audience before? Why am I calling it an audience? But you know what I mean.
Well, there's people, so it's to an extent an audience. Yes.
Has anybody here played No Man's Sky or play it at all? I just want to listen to an answer, see if we get one. Because there was like a mega huge update for it today, and yeah, Metal Gear Solid. Try Metal Gear 5 on the PS4. That's fucking brilliant. My brother had Donkey Kong. That Donkey Kong on the old Nintendo 64 was brilliant.
I had Donkey Kong on a handheld game system, like before even there was a Game Boy. Do you remember those? Like
yeah, like Tetris. You know, Tetris on the original Game Boy was just the best ever.
Oh man, you should have a look at the Tetris story. It's really fucked up.
Doesn't look like anybody's played fucking No Man's Sky. Oh well, never mind. You've not missed much. Although it doesn't look bad at the moment. It's a good game. If you're into a role, you know, like a space game where you can visit other planets, it's fucking great. But you know.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining myself and Andy. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been an interesting subject, and we may well come back to it very soon, because I'm sure there's more of this guy we still haven't come across. he is a filthy piece of shit. That's all I'll say. I'm not talking about Andy. I mean Robert. But yeah, so thanks so much for joining us, and of course, thanks so much for joining me, Andy.
Yeah, cheers, man. Thanks for having me.
So yeah, take care, everyone. I'm gonna shut down the stream now. It's probably time for my bed. And so I'm gonna shut down the stream, send Andy a load of dick pics, and go to sleep. Night, everyone. Bye.
Can't, mate.